Hello everyone. What is database transaction? While many of you might be aware of what exactly is a database transaction and you might be aware about the theoretical concepts, but very few of you would have actually run some SQL commands and seen and visualize how the database transactions look like. So in this video, what I'm going to do is to demonstrate and show you how the database transactions look like in the database. And then we are going to cover various properties of the database transactions. I'm going to take the reference of PostgreSQL, but the same concept hold for other relational database as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'll have PostgreSQL installed in my machine. I'll open few terminals and then I'll show you by running some commands so that you can see that how various transactions behave with each other. So let's quickly get started. Let's do first thing, that is, what exactly is transaction? In simple words, transaction is a single unit of work which is done by the database. So the single unit of work can be one single query. You can write just one single query, for example, update a particular row in the database, or you can write a collection of queries and group them in the form of transaction. So here, for example, I have a transaction where I have begin and I have a commit. That's the beginning of transaction and the end of the transaction. And I have written two queries. So these two queries are clubbed together with begin and commit. So they comprise of one single transaction. Now, this one single transaction, the moment we communicate to the database that, hey, this is a transaction which I wish to run, and these are the queries which are part of the database transaction, then there are some guarantees which database gives us. And that guarantee is called as ACID. Now, what exactly is ACID? The meaning of ACID is atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. So, atomicity means that either all the statements should get executed or none should get executed. What if I run these commands? The command 1, command 2, and there can be multiple commands. There can be some constraint in the database that, hey, the balance can never be less than 0. And that constraint is applied at the database level. Or there is some mistake in the SQL query. You wrote 5 queries as a part of transaction and you made some mistake in the 5th query. So what will happen in those cases? In those cases, the transaction will not run partially. It is not going to happen that the first 4 queries run fine and the 5th query do not run fine. What will happen the moment the 5th query or the last query fails, all the previous queries will roll back internally. So in that case, things will be the way they were. So either everything runs or nothing runs. That's called as atomicity. The second is the consistency, which means that whatever constraints you have applied to the database, they are honored. So for example, many constraints you can apply to the database that, hey, the balance cannot be more than less than 0. You can also apply the constraints like foreign key constraints, etc. Enums, a particular column can be an enum, etc. So those come under the consistency. So you wish to maintain the correctness of the data, and that is guaranteed using the consistency. The third is the isolation, and that is a very important concept. What I'll do is that I'll also show you using running some commands in the PostgreSQL so that you can understand it better. So the isolation means that the query must be executed in isolation and should not be impacted by some other query. So for example, I have 2 transactions. Here I have 1, and likewise I can have one more transaction. Let's say somebody is trying to send me 100 rupees and somebody else is also trying to send me 100 rupees. So these 2 different instructions should not get mixed with each other so that the correctness is always maintained. So that is also guaranteed using isolation. So there is a detailed topic on isolation, like there is an isolation level concept, because you cannot always isolate completely 2 different transactions. Based on the performance and based on your need, you would want to have some level of isolation. But what I'll do, I'll create separate video for isolation level. But here I'll just explain what exactly is isolation and I'll give you the gist of it. And the durability is that whenever you commit the transaction, those changes should be permanent. So for example, if I have a PostgreSQL installed in my machine and I run some queries, some database commands, and then I commit that transaction, then the data should be persisted. Afterwards, if I restart my computer or if my laptop crashes and if I restart, then that data should be there. So that's the concept of durability. There's a whole doc in the PostgreSQL. You can go and check out and you will understand more. Here I have just covered the summary of it. So of course, always going through the public doc would help. So do check out. I'll post the link in the description as well. Now let's quickly move to the Postgres terminal and see how the transaction looks like. So here I have Postgres opened in my computer and I have opened the terminal. You can check out how to install Postgres by yourself. It's not very hard. And here I'm going to run some of the database transactions so that you can understand how they look like. So the first thing what I'll do is that I'll run the simplest database transaction. The simplest database transaction comprises of a begin statement. So this means that the transaction has started. Then I can write some of the commands here. So here I have a table called as bank balance. So I can run the query here. And then I can also update some of the records. So for example, I can update the table bank balance set balance equal to 450 where ID is equal to 2. So here you can see the current balance for Arjun is 435. I'm just updating it to 450 rupees. I can do that and then I can commit the transaction. So there are two options I would have. The first is the begin of the transaction, and then at the end of the transaction, I can either commit the transaction or I can roll back the transaction. So for example, I could even write. So let's first see what's the new value of the bank balance. So I can run this command and you can see that the new balance is now updated. I can begin a transaction and then I can update the values again. So I can write the commands where I can update the value to 460 rupees. And then I can roll back. So when I roll back, the values do not get persisted. So now if I run the select from bank statement, I do not get the updated value. So this is the basic syntax for the transaction, that how the transaction looks like. Now you recall that there were 4 different properties which I talked earlier. One is atomicity, other is consistency, isolation, and durability. So let's check one by one each of those. The first thing I'll do is that I'll run the command for the atomicity. So let's say I run a database transaction by the command called as begin. So I have started the transaction. Now I run a command bank balance set balance equal to 500 where ID is equal to 1. So till here the things are okay. I can even write select statements and verify that my changes are there within this particular transaction. So you can see for the ID is equal to 1, the balance is updated to 500 rupees. Now let's say due to some issue, that some issue could be even mistake by me, I write some invalid query. In those cases, if the transaction fails, the thing should roll back. So at present you see the new value as 500. Now let's say I make some mistake here. I write update bank balance set something else, the column which does not even exist. It will give me the error. And now my transaction has to be rolled back. I can write the command called as rollback and the things will roll back to the way they were. Now if I write select statement, you can see the value is no longer equal to 500. So we don't see 500 value for Anubhav. So in this way, you can see that the atomicity is maintained. So even though there were 2 commands run and we could update one of the commands, but since the second query failed, we rolled back everything. So it's never partial. Now let's talk about the second thing, that is the consistency. So you see here, we talked a bit about the consistency and how does it look like in the database transactions. The overall idea in the database transaction is that if you transfer 100 rupees to someone, let's say Arjun gave 100 rupees to Anubhav, at the end of the transaction, the value should be correct. So basically, this means that at the end of the transaction, the sum of the values of the balance for Anubhav and Arjun should be equal to what the sum was at the beginning of the transaction. So that's what you have to maintain. And that is somehow related to the atomicity as well, that I cannot just have one single query of deducting amount from Arjun's and not adding to Anubhav. So the way it looks like, it's that, let's say I do begin and then I run some command like bank balance, set balance equal to balance plus 10, where ID equal to 1. And then I run the similar command for balance equal to balance minus 100, where ID is equal to 2. And then I can run the commit command. Now, if I see the bank balance, so what will happen is that the values would be updated according to the updates done here. So it is not going to happen that at the beginning of the transaction, the summation of the values for the balance of Anubhav and Arjun is something else, and now it is something else. So that consistency is always maintained, the correctness of the data. So that is also ensured using the database transaction. The third is actually very important, and that is around the isolation, that the query must be executed in isolation and should not be impacted by other queries. What does it mean? So this means that let's start few transactions. So let's leverage both the windows now. So we have two tables here. Let's say I start the transaction on the left side, I start the transaction on the right side. So basically two different users trying to update a few records. Now on the left side, let's say I write some command, select star from bank balance, and I will get some records on the left side. Likewise, I can run the same command on the right side, and I will get the response in the right side as well. Now on the left side, let's say I update the records. So on the left side, you can see I have updated the record. But now if I do a select statement on the right side, I don't see any update happening. On the left side though, the values would be updated. So on the left side, you see that the values are updated. I have the new value for ID is equal to 1 as 200, but on the right side, the values are not yet reflected. So the transaction 1 is independent of transaction 2. Now, let's say I commit the transaction. So basically, the moment I commit the value on the left side, and then on the right side, I can do select star from bank balance again. Now you see the latest value is updated. So now I have the latest value for Anubhav is equal to 200. So the changes are reflected only when the commit is done. So the transaction 1 was independent of transaction 2. The transaction 2 on the right side takes the values from the disk. Whatever has been committed to the database, it takes only those values. Any changes you do within the transaction, they are just temporary changes and they get reflected to the database only when you do the commit operation. Now here there is one important thing to remember is that the things are not as simple as I described. There is a whole theory around the isolation level, which I would cover in the next video. But here, so basically you can choose when do you want to see the latest value, when do you not want to see the latest value. So there are some facilities and some options which databases give. But here what I'm talking about and which is used in most of the cases is this scenario that you do not see any temp value here, and then you see the latest value the moment a commit operation is done. You never see the uncommitted value. So that's about the isolation, that the transaction 1 is independent of transaction 2. All the changes you do within a transaction do not get reflected and seen by the other transactions unless you commit the value. And then you are, of course, getting the values from the disk. Now let's talk about the last one. And last one, I don't think requires much of an analysis, but it says that the durability, that the changes done by the transaction must be permanent, which means that let's say here you see I have select star from bank balance equal to for Anubhav and Arjun. I have set up some values here. Now imagine I restart my computer and then I restart again. And then I check the value of bank balance again. These values should be present in my disk and I should be able to get the values again. So let's say I open one more terminal, new window, and then I connect to my Postgres database. And let's close the other tables. We don't need them. and let's just maximize this one. Let's close the other one as well. It doesn't matter. So let's close this one as well. And let's see, are we getting the latest value or not? So we are connected to Postgres database. Now we do select star from bank balance. And you can see the latest values are present in the bank balance table. So this means that in your databases, once the transaction is finished, that value will be persisted to disk and it will be saved by the database. So there are various techniques which database follows, for example, a write ahead log, and there are many various mechanisms. But the overall idea is that once the transaction is committed, that value should be persisted and it should be saved with the database. So that next time, whenever you try to get the value, you should get the value. So of course, this is something which we would expect from the database. There is nothing new here. So yeah, that's it from my side for this video. I think this video would have clarified how the database transactions look when you run the transaction in the terminal, the atomicity where the partial thing is not there, or the consistency where the correctness of the data should be there. Isolation is another thing where you run two transactions and how the changes in one transaction should not reflect the changes in the other transaction, and the durability part, that the changes you do should be permanent. So yeah, these are the things which I wanted to cover. I'll zoom in more into the isolation part because it is very interesting and it will help you to solve many databases problems. So I'll do that in the next video. But to give you the overall picture how the transaction looks like, I hope this video was helpful. Please download PostgreSQL, run some command by yourselves to get the sense of the overall things. Unless you make your hands dirty and run some commands on having by opening two terminals, you might not be able to visualize things as much. So yeah, please try that. I hope this video was helpful. Till the next time, bye.